I'm really bad at clicking, and so there's a slight delay. It's a special podcast, everybody. It's pretty special, and the type of special that rides on the short bus. The one that gets hit by Jason.
Oh.
Because he hates special kids with special abilities and powers like the X-Men.
Yeah. Did the X-Men have a short bus?
Special bus is for.
This is the podcast that you come to because nothing is going on in the world, and it's a fun place to go to let off steam.
I'm also like to come here and yell at my friends. Very fun.
I exclusively like to scream at my friends.
It's the only way to do it.
Especially Silver, the worst one of us all.
Ugh.
No fun if you're yelling at someone you don't know.
Huh, Silver? What do you have to say for yourself, you terrible human being?
I mean, first of all, you're right.
You ever apologize for World War II? I don't think so.
You can't prove I was there.
I can prove you caused it.
Be my guest.
You know what you did.
You know what you did.
She lives in a bunch of denial and refuses to accept the truth. I keep telling her I have a girlfriend, and she's like, "No, you don't." And I keep telling her she lives in another school district. That's why you've never met her.
I'm more concerned that she's in a school district.
She's from Canada. You don't get it.
You don't even know.
I see.
Relationship's been rocky because of the hockey game.
Oh, yes. Had to go to couples counseling because of that hockey game.
We're pretty young. We're not going to couples counseling.
No.
Let's see. Not with, like, your stuffed animals lined up with a little notepad.
That's too young. I'm thinking, like, high school.
Okay, I see. So, your random friend with his glasses, like, or the bottom of his nose, like, yes.
You know what, Silver? I'm sick of your guff. I'm going to meet you outside after school by the flagpole.
Flagpole.
I'm going to give you a walloping.
Listen, right by the flagpole is where we do King of Bunker Hill, and I'm knocking you off that thing.
Violence is imitatable. This is a DG Podcast episode 105. We have Jason Ross and the horror show, The Cause of All Despair, Silverval, with us. I'm glad she's joined us despite all of the homework.
Destroying Tokyo.
Despite all of the homework. And did you get everything done in your already busy week?
No.
Good Lord.
You know,
I can tell you now, it's like 4 mental breakdowns later. It's still not going well.
I mean, I've had kind of a rough week, and I've been kind of busy and stuff, and I kept thinking, well, maybe I'll call Silverval. And I was like, I thought we talked about if she felt she had time, and I kept thinking, I bet she doesn't have time.
Oh no, this has been the worst week of my life.
This is why I hate spring break. It doesn't make any sense. These are the rants I get into. We've got a lot of stuff to go through. Before we get there, let's see. Anything reportable? Jason went to museum. Silver had a lot of homework. Me and Ross watched Kung Fury, and we're now enraged that there's no Kung Fury 2.
It's very dumb.
I can give you a random side tangent.
Oh?
What's that?
Maybe you can answer this question for me, because I have no idea why it keeps happening.
I have all answers.
Every single time my laptop updates, it changes my search engine to Yahoo, and I'm so tired of it.
There's usually a box you have to select.
Oh yeah, I go in there every single time after the update and switch my default browser back to Google. Every time it updates, it switches back to Yahoo.
We've got the special
so
Yahoo
dumb.
virus that I keep hearing about.
Which, actually, yes, because I've Googled it, and they're like, you might have malware, and I've done so much crap, and it keeps popping back up.
Oh my Lord.
It's embedded in the code. It's a part of
Yahoo's
your
plaguing
processor
me.
now.
I know.
Yeah.
I've deleted the option, and it comes back like the dead. It just
Well, as someone who's had a long string of viruses over my many years, sometimes the best solution, which might be the extreme solution, is a complete reformat. You just wipe everything and you start again. But that's the extreme, and whether or not you have time for that, and you don't,
yeah,
because
no.
you got homework and things. So you're just going to have to truck along with old Yahoo.
I mean, as long as it doesn't update, it's still on Google. That's fine. But oh my gosh, I hate you, Yahoo.
Hey, they used to be good. Be nice. They're old and decrepit.
There's so many other options they could choose from in this list. I'd rather them choose like DuckDuckGo, but no, it had to be Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
DuckDuckGo is a good option.
No, why
Thank
not
goodness it was a
ask
Bing.
Jeeves?
Ask Jeeves. He's so old now, he only has limited amounts of information to share.
Back in my day.
You'll also be pleased to know we are trucking along on James Bond, despite the wall we hit of hot takes from me.
Rhett's on the verge of having a bad time.
I may or may not have gone off on James Bond the last time we watched a movie.
And I won't let him quit. He's chained to the desk. He can't leave.
I'll just have to watch movies I'm probably not gonna enjoy.
It's gonna be very fun to get to the end of this and see how you feel.
Well, I mean, that's a discussion for another day, and how much people are curious about whether or not. It's funny, people get so attached to some brands that it's really hard for them to have an objective view.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've seen Star Wars so many times, it's kind of in my DNA when I'm a kid. So I don't even think I can really watch Star Wars fairly as an adult.
Yeah.
Or like Indiana Jones. It's just, can I be really fair about whether or not Indiana Jones is a good movie or not? I don't know. I don't think so. But, what are you going to do? I did find out some special bit of information that apparently Axl Rose delayed a concert because he didn't want to land the plane or get out of his plane because he was too engrossed in a movie he was watching, which happened to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. So,
oh my gosh.
What a guy, huh?
Axl Rose is a psychopath. He punched David Bowie in the face at one point.
Yeah.
For talking to his girlfriend.
I hate Axl Rose.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche.
He's such a chode.
Rock and roll. Despite that, so, dear viewer who might have been following us for a while, you might have noticed that we have had long-standing rants about Hollywood, but I rest assured there's a plan here that we will not devolve into talking points and repeating things we've said 40 times in a row. We have a structure because there's a lot of things that have happened this week. Things that all relate to a condition going on in Hollywood that are value to bring up. And so I'm going to start out with an article with things Jamie Lee Curtis had to say. And you might go, oh, interesting. Jamie Lee Curtis, a person that's involved in Hollywood for quite a few years. And she has some ideas on how to protect the film industry. Why don't we read a little...
the red flag to me.
Well, I don't know. She knows more about the inside of Hollywood than we do. Maybe she has apt information on how to fix things.
Maybe.
Let's see. Curtis's fast rise as a power producer has given her a front row seat to the anxieties and struggles of the industry she grew up in. I see the lists of actors who are available for work, and when you start going down these lists, these are people who have starred in movies, had their own TV series, and they're willing to go on tape for a small part in either your movie or your TV shows, she says. It is a desperate time. There is very little work available. She worries about consolidation, referring no doubt to Paramount's impending acquisition Warner Brothers, and recently reposted a criticism of Timothée Chalamet's viral comments about preferring to work in movies versus ballet and opera, art forms that he said are fueled by strained efforts to keep this thing alive. Apparently, her philosophy as a film producer, she's seen the medium as still capable of with success of wild gambles like everything everywhere. I believe that the industry will survive. I think that we're in more of a transition phase. I hope heads of companies will take $50 million of their annual budget and say, let's give $5 million to 10 filmmakers who want to make a $5 million movie and see what comes out of that investment. That's probably a smarter strategy than what they're doing.
I was going to say, that's not crazy.
As well as these giant investments on the tentpole movies where they're paying leads in the 20 million range. Let's do both. I hope that all those big companies recognize that importance. Nobody knows shit about what makes anything successful. You just have to trust the art form. I don't know about that, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, she lost me at the end there.
But it's some interesting internal
let's
reflection.
give somebody just free reign to do a movie. Let's not get the studio involved. Let's let them do their thing, see what they come up with. That sounds like a great idea. The other part where she says, and let's also pay the actors top dollar.
Well,
eventually that won't work. Because, sorry, go ahead, Brad.
Oh, well, I was just about to say, part of the disconnect you get a lot of with these artists, if you will, is there's an expectation on their end of that it's art for art's sake, and then funding good art is a value in and of itself. And the problem is that attitude hasn't garnered successful companies or good returns or, financially stable Warner Brothers, if you will. And simply making movies for the sake of movies is not a thing. Now, taking small risks on art movies and giving people shots with smaller budgets like $5 million is not a bad idea. And in fact, they should be doing that 99% of the time, with every now and then a big movie that might have a true proven track record with a well-structured and well-gone-over script with a seasoned director and not some random person you picked up off the street.
Yeah. I mean, when she says nobody knows shit about what makes things successful, I mean, entire careers were made on that in Hollywood, Jamie.
Yeah.
Like, that was... To know what worked made you very successful in that world. Whether it was Hollywood or music or TV, any sort of that entertainment art. That was, many careers have been made on that sort of thing. Knowing, like, having your finger on the pulse, as they say.
Really quick, Silver, why don't you open that Watch Together, that link, because we're going to get to that soon.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Anyway, keep going, Ross.
And it's interesting. She said she was talking about how, like, people who are like names, like people who've had movies or whatever, are even wanting small roles. Really good sign of the health. And I think it was interesting because I was just watching an old video about Tron Ares, and apparently Cameron Monaghan was like a random, like, almost bit part in that movie. And which was baffling to the people watching it because they're like, but you're in things. Why wasn't there just some random guy? And it's like, well, maybe it was a bigger part and it got cut down, or maybe he's just getting a little bit of extra work. I don't know.
Well, and one thing that should be pointed out is the odd... She acts as if success in the film industry is kind of a random turn of events. Like, we don't know what makes things successful.
Wide audience
appeal. How about we take things to the extreme? Is it possible to objectively say a movie's bad?
Yeah. I think so.
If you just have a picture of someone's backside and they're farting for 2.5 hours, is that going to garner successful returns for your company and the absurd $200 million investment in this fart movie.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, well, if you made it for $5, probably, but no, not for 200 million. I don't think there's enough perverts on the internet for that.
So if we take it to the extreme, then there is a theoretical scenario that we could say that there is objectively a movie that will not be successful. And then we can point at good movies who have good storytelling, good structure, that somehow they connect with people. Lord of the Rings is a good story. And there's a reason why it was a successful story written by a successful author who spent years working on it. And then we get movies and people connect with those stories on an individual level. There's no randomness. There's no confusion. It's not like throwing a dart at a dartboard, hoping something works out. There is a reason why movies become successful. There's a reason why you have focus groups. There's a reason why you, look at your audience and try and, I mean, it happens far too often, but you find people making films. There was that one, it was like that gay romance story, and they put it out and no one went and saw it. And then there was like anger, like, well, I don't know why anybody didn't go and see it. It's like, well, because most people aren't gay and people aren't going to connect with that movie. And even most people, gay people, didn't go see the movie. And it's like they get confused as to, this is my passion project, this is my art, I have interesting things to say, and then nobody connects with it. The reason why the art form of filmmaking exists, studying film, studying story structure, studying lighting and shots and structure, and being able to tell a story and frame it in a good way. I mean, the reason why this art form exists and why people study it is because there's such thing as good and bad. And I think she's saying nobody understands why. What is the exact quote?
It's a complete mystery. A movie comes out and maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. We don't know until people start going to see it. It's like,
to exactly quote her, nobody knows shit about what makes anything successful. You just have to trust the art form. Trust, no. And people do know a lot. It's just, I think the problem is nobody knows shit about what makes anything successful today, because none of you know what you're doing. None of you know what you're doing. Well, failure after failure, there's like 5 people who can put together a logical, reasonable story and structure in a way that makes people make sense. And you don't know. That's the problem. And this seems like a weird self-reflection of like, wow, nobody understands why things don't work out. So this brings us to our next topic. A big movie came out, which me and Ross, at least, I don't know what everybody else's opinion is, but when I saw advertisements for The Bride, I thought, this looks interesting. I'm kind of down for this weird art house character study film. I didn't know anything about the story. I didn't know who directed it. I just saw Batman was in it, sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And then the movie came out. Now, you might go, well, is it good? Is it not good? Well, to give you a reflection of how well this movie did, it cost $155 million, and its opening weekend was 14.
What? It cost $155 million? Is that with ads?
Holy cow!
I don't think so. And to clarify, I got that incorrectly. Its opening week, not weekend, week did $14 million. Globally, not domestic, globally.
Oh, you're just digging it. You're digging the hole deeper.
I heard, I can't remember where, I heard the advertising budget was like 65 or something.
Oh my God, so this seems like a $210 million movie, all said. Holy shit. Wow, that's action for a retelling of an artsy retelling of Frankenstein. No.
So to give you some clarification, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to be overly explanatory about a movie I haven't seen, because I try not to judge things I haven't seen.
Sure.
It is a mega flop, Captain Crunch 1707 with the baller name. Get with the
Yeah,
captain.
this was a belly flop from the high dive.
Of epic proportions. But let me at least clarify what we're looking at here. I had no idea what the movie was about. But apparently it's a feminist movie. This was written by Maggie Gyllenhaal herself when she was young. And essentially the plot is Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein, gets reborn as a new person, and Frankenstein has been living for a century or so, waiting for her to come back because he's in love with her, which I didn't know she was in her own book.
Yeah.
But whatever. And Frankenstein is essentially kind of a simp for Mary Shelley. And then the movie degenerates into her making a lot of commentary about men keeping them down. And she gets real rebellious and it becomes kind of a Bonnie and Clyde thing.
Okay.
And she tries to spread her, I guess, self into other people. That this is the roughest I could give for this plot. She has the black on her face because she's coughing up bile because whatever. But welcome to this story. It is a very feminist movie, which, look, if you're into feminist films, fine. I tend to think those movies don't do well because they're preachy and talk down to you and tend to be really shitty. But if you're into feminist movies, fine. This movie seems to have not spoken to the feminist or at least any general audience at all, because $14 million globally for its opening week is abysmally bad. Abysmally bad.
That could be the feminist audience.
Well, she kept trying to imply that this was creating buzz and conversations online, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
Maybe in a negative way.
I don't know about that, champ.
Listen to your slugger.
So there was an interesting interview that Maggie actually had. I can't remember what publication. Balls publication.
The only the finest.
So we're going to sit and listen to some of the interview and what she had to say. All right?
I was thinking about this moment because on the one hand, we've had all these interesting, films come out just this year. Chloe Zhao with Hamnet, Lynn Ramsey with Die My Love, Kristen Stewart with The Chronology of Water. But on the other hand, there's only 8% of films that were made by women. Mm-hmm. And that's a 7-year low.
So bringing this up, one has to assume that they're bringing this up as in this is by design, and if everything was doing well, then there would be a parity, a 50-50 sort of thing when it comes to women and men directors. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of women and men choose different professions deliberately because they have different interests and different things they want out of life.
Right.
However, even when it comes to the women directors we do have, I guarantee you, they would throw themselves, throw money at the wall, desperately trying to get women directors because they want really good women directors. And then you look down the road and you look at some of these big female directed movies that become epic failures. Things like The Marvels, one of the biggest financial failures in Marvel history. It might even in television history to some degree. Directed by a woman who, what was it, Nia DaCosta, who went on to direct Bone Temple.
Oh yeah, which is now, that one has put the third movie in question, hasn't it?
I actually think they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So that killed the return of the zombie movies.
Oops.
There are a lot, and it's like, what, you're telling me that women can't direct? No. Sofia Coppola can direct. I know the director of Hurt Locker is a woman. Like, they're really good women directors. And Hollywood is desperate to throw their money at them. The problem is, much like any director, you have to make good movies and have a proven track record. Simply risking hundreds of millions of dollars on somebody because of their gender is a poor decision to be made by anybody at the top of anything. Hurt Locker's a really, really good movie. And I didn't know a woman directed it because, honestly, it doesn't really matter because a good director is a good director and she can make really good movies.
Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow. So the point of we have to sit here and be like, well, there's only 8% of directors are women. And it's like, okay, if somebody said 75% of directors are women, I'd be like, oh, interesting. And then move on. If they're making good movies, they're making good movies. It should be mostly irrelevant as to what their gender is and what they're capable. Like it's really unnecessarily stupid to make this a big point. If you're good at making movies, you're good at making movies. Fine. Anyway.
I wonder if, from a directorial standpoint, this movie is any good. Obviously, from what we can see from the box office returns, it hasn't resonated with audiences, and that could be more of a story. From a story perspective, maybe the movie was well directed and cut together well, but because nobody wanted to go see it, we don't get a real sense of this was a well put together movie. Well, nobody liked it.
I think speculation is going to serve us nowhere because none of us have seen it.
True.
All I can say is that people I've heard of that have seen it have talked about it like it's really, really bad. But that's just secondhand.
Right. The reason I was wondering that is because this is the first movie that I know of. I mean, maybe Maggie Gyllenhaal has done other movies. I don't know. This is the first movie that I know of that she's done. This goes into that she doesn't have a proven track record of directing good movies. So why did they give her this movie other than the fact that she's a woman? And we talked about this in relation.
She has famous parents. She has a famous brother.
Yeah. And we talked about this in relation to what Jamie Lee Curtis said about giving these directors a small budget and letting them go out and do something.
Well, Jason, you're getting ahead of yourselves because they will talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's shift on a little bit and listen more of what she has to say.
I mean, what do you think that says?
I'm thinking about whether to say this.
Say it.
I think that it's fine. Like when we make little movies, cute, or like go make your little movie. Starts to get dangerous when women have their hands on a lot of money. You know what you're saying? You're saying it's a tiny percentage, but look at how.
So let's at least think about what she's actually trying to say here. Women, they like to give women little budgets and do their cute little movies. But when we're given a lot of movie, it becomes dangerous because think of all the stuff that we could do with that. Think of what we can make when they give us a lot of money. And the implication is that they're not given their opportunity. They're not given a chance because they're unwilling to give them a lot of money because they're afraid of what they'll create and what they might say, sort of thing. I'm going to tell you right now, no one's afraid of what women are going to say. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie.
Right.
The reason why they don't give you lots of money is because you haven't proven you can handle big budgets. Yeah. And that goes for any director. Throwing money at a director with a huge budget, it's like, well, when they give us lots of money, interesting things happen. That adds to it a huge amount of risk. A huge amount of problems. The director of Wonder Woman made a very successful movie. And then they gave her carte blanche, paid no attention, let her do whatever she wanted to, because the assumption is she can make a movie, she's going to make another great movie, and then that one flopped and was a disaster.
Yeah.
And then
Patty Jenkins was the it girl for a while.
She was the it girl for a while, because they wanted to throw big money at her. And she failed. And it cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. Because I know, as much as you might want to sit there and think, oh, well, if they give us a lot of money, think of what we can do. It's as if they owe you that for your art. The risk involved, the jobs that could be lost, the debt accrued. This is not a small amount of money. You're acting as if these billion-dollar companies can just shrug it off and accept the loss as if it's an easy thing to do. That is a huge risk, and that's why she didn't get a third Wonder Woman. That's why a lot of these movies we've seen recently that have been mega flops, you ask yourself, they could have done so much better with a smaller budget. And a lot of the risk is not just because they're making bad movies, but they're spending way too much on these bad movies. Way too much. Assuming that the art, to point at Jamie Lee Curtis's comment, trust in the art. Look at Joker. They didn't spend a lot of money on Joker, and it was amazing. And they trusted in the art and spent absurd amounts of money on top of what they spent on the Joker for Joker 2. And it was a failure because they trusted the art. People act like the film industry is sort of an enigma on and of itself, where it's like, well, we create art and interesting things. It is a business, and businesses can't survive just failing. And they don't owe you their money so that you can create your vision, so that you can express yourself. It's horseshit, and this is one of the bigger problems with Hollywood. At some point, somebody has to sit there and go like, well, what do audiences want to see, as opposed to, I'm going to give you way too much money so that you can express yourself and act fulfilled as an artist. Horseshit.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to be fulfilled and express yourself as an artist, do it on your own dime.
But they're not gonna. They want to spend your money.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, and so Maggie Gyllenhaal has directed other things. She's directed a little bit of TV and then another film before this one called The Lost Daughter, which was nominated for all sorts of awards and won a decent amount of them. So, but that was a $5 million budget, Red.
Yeah.
So, and it, by the way, it made like under $1 million.
So it wasn't successful. They were just throwing awards at her.
Yeah, but like that's kind of not unusual for studios to do that. Like make a movie that's pretty modestly budgeted for them, a few million, just for award fodder.
Yeah.
They do that. But yeah, good Lord. From $5 million budget to $150 million, good hell. Quite the jump. And you know what? We've seen this before in the past, have we not?
Yeah.
With the Marvel movies where they have cast directors because, well, everything's a hit, we can't miss, and we'll get good boy brownie points in Hollywood if we do this, but from the rest of our peers. But then it started not working all of a sudden. So, plus they were newer directors, they could boss them around.
I think Nia DaCosta with the Marvels, it was like her first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was hundreds of millions of dollars for that budget. First film.
Mm-hmm.
Absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy. It wasn't her first movie, but it was it was her third, and it was by far and away the largest budget. Not even
Make a
close.
couple indie films, you can now handle a mega big budget. And that's the difference between the little indie films too and the big budget thing is everything's exaggerated on a grand scale. It requires a lot more organizing, a lot more crew, a lot more planning, just everything's bigger, huger. It's not an easy translation from you and your 10-man crew to you and hundreds of people managing this huge production. It's a whole other ball of wax. But
yeah. Yeah, it's huge. It's big. It's a big change. And you know what? The one movie she made, granted it was a screenplay by Jordan Peele, was Candyman. $25 million budget, made 77, so it probably made money. But again, anyway.
Let's shift on.
Many of those movies were movies that made an impact. Like if you've had your mouth shut for so long, almost like a geyser, like having your hand on something. Well, when it bursts, it's going to come out really powerfully.
So someone's been shutting your mouth, and you're exploding with what you have to say because you're being quieted and kept down. You do realize you are a celebrity with a public face who can say anything you want to. Why does somebody giving you $150 million the only way where you can really be yourself and express yourself, and the geyser of what you have to say will spew forth on the dime of Warner Brothers or Marvel or whatever?
Yeah, and by the way, incredibly successful actress. I mean,
yeah,
been in so much stuff.
Batman.
Her filmography is huge. That movie Secretary, Donnie Darko, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Mona Lisa Smile. Like, she's been in so much stuff.
She
World
was in
Trade
Stranger
Center,
Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction, yes. Nanny McPhee, big hit that. Like, she's been in a ton of. So it's like, ma'am, you are amongst the 1%. You understand this, right?
Well, that's what's always funny when people complain about the uber wealthy. It's never them. It's like when millionaires complain about the uber wealthy, and it's like, well, no, it's the billionaires.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
And my voice is suddenly spewing forth because somebody gave me $150 million to do so. Paid for my platform.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Moving on.
And with a lot of energy. And I wonder if what's happening culturally is gonna okay, I will say one thing about this. It's gonna bring like an unstoppable response, maybe especially from women. I will say, and I don't know if I've said this out loud before. Again, maybe I'll get in trouble, but I actually
no one's going to cancel you.
No, probably only if you say the N-word right now.
You're in one of the most privileged positions of not only being on the left, so Hollywood likes you, but being a celebrity and being a woman. Like, you're very protected as opposed to trolls on the internet. They're going to troll. But no one's going to cancel you unless you say something horrific.
Well, Rhett, in the next 10 seconds, she could start reciting the protocols of the Elders of Zion. I don't know. It could happen. She could just start spouting off some crazy things.
Let's find out.
I think that when I really became a director was actually, I think, the first time, that the morning that Trump was first elected.
Oh, I see. Your art, your directing is structured around your beef in politics. Now here's one thing I might say, as stupid as that sounds. Look, people have strong political opinions, and if you're sitting here really upset about the state of politics in the country, or maybe you really hate Trump, there's nothing wrong with feeling like you have to be a champion to push against what you disagree with. But have this expectation that somebody has to pay for it is absurd. There are only 8% of women directors, and they won't give it, when they give us a lot of money, it becomes dangerous. It's like, yeah, because you lose money. That's when it becomes dangerous.
It's dangerous for my pocketbook, God damn it. We're in debt.
I mean, it almost sounds like a cliche with women, where it's like, oh, you give them too much money, it becomes dangerous. It's like, what, women be shopping? Like, what is this? What's the joke here?
Oh, good Lord.
And it was political. Donald Trump got elected and she became a director. Not because she had something artistic to say or she wanted to express herself. It was mostly her agenda.
So I'm pretty sure when she was talking about earlier, like, oh, it's when I wasn't allowed to speak for so long, it just erupted. I'm pretty sure with her tagging this on, she's saying as soon as Trump was elected, she was silenced. Like heck, she was.
Well, famously, Hollywood kept silent the first Trump administration. Famously.
Yeah. They had nothing to say. It's not like every award show, and our expectation with the Oscars is not going to be constant political messages in any way whatsoever.
Right.
Everybody's been quieted in silence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah.
We are a Yahtzee controlled government, and no one's allowed to speak their mind. And in fact, women like this are never given $150 million to make absurd, bad pieces of shit cinema.
No, it's very rare. You're right. She had to fight and claw for it. I'm sure.
Well, and to point out the fact that she was given that huge amount of budget should at least express the absurd privilege she possesses. No one, practically statistically nobody, is given that kind of privilege to be able to make a movie with that big a budget where you can espouse your political opinions and express yourself on the big screen, get distributed across a lot of theaters. And you're sitting here like, oh, I've been stymied, I've been silenced. Wait until we get big budgets and you'll see what we can do. We saw, and it's a steaming pile of horseshit, and it lost a huge amount of money.
We know what happens when you get a lot of money. You waste it.
I did really like when she was talking about, I feel like this is gonna start like a cataclysm, like a bunch of women are gonna come together. And I'm just like, yeah, yep, I've gotten the email. I'm in that group text.
All women together. Woo. Silver's on the inside.
I just put it to spam. It's fine.
Women unite, get on each other's magic moon schedules. I don't know.
Exactly. We all become synced.
It's mysterious and disturbing. Anyway, we're going to finish. I don't think she has much to say, but let's make sure we finish this out.
Thank goodness.
I think I was like, I have a lot more to say than
Clearly,
I've been
yep.
saying.
Yep, and you wanted to say it. And you got to say it, and apparently nobody was interested in what you had to express.
Yep.
Congratulations.
You did it.
You screamed into the void, and no one was listening.
In the midst of this, we're going to find ourselves shifting to some interesting gun news. Now, believe it or not, in the midst
not
of...
that kind. Damn.
Oh. In the midst of Paramount winning basically the bid for WB, it did some interesting things happen. So David Ellison for Paramount got a big meeting. It was more of a meet and greet, things aren't finalized sort of thing, but he met with a lot of the heads of the studios. It's like 100 people, big important people involved in Warner. And they all sat down and met and chatted and stuff. And for some reason, James Gunn didn't go.
Oh,
Which is
not a good sign.
No, it's a strange, confusing sort of thing. And a lot of people have been trying to speculate as to why. Oh, he had something going on. Maybe you can meet with him privately. Yada, yada, yada. But a lot of people started having questions of, well, what does James Gunn's future look like with Paramount? Because a lot of things could happen here. One would hope that they might sit down and review things and see the direction that maybe the DC universe is going and decide whether or not it needs a reevaluation. And we've already had publicly in front of Congress the CEO of Netflix admit that Superman was a failure.
Oh.
So which direction are we expecting the DCU to go in? And these sorts of discussions I can't anticipate happening quite yet.
Right.
Honestly, at this stage of things, they're probably just going to go like, oh, you're doing great, and gloss over everybody and make everybody feel really good. And then once everything's finalized, you're going to start seeing layoffs and purges.
I mean, I don't anticipate it falling through, but there is always the possibility that something could happen that halts the sale of WB to Paramount. So yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to go in and start wholesale axing people in departments and plans and all that stuff just yet. So it's one of those cautious things like, yeah, let's do this. But to me, this is a bad sign. If I'm the studio head and I'm buying the studio that you belong to and you don't attend a meeting, that at this point, yeah, you might not be around much longer.
Well, and I don't know. I don't really think that they're just gonna fire Gunn, but who knows the direction this is gonna go.
Yeah,
Right.
hard to
I mean,
say.
they might not fire him like you said, but this could obviously get him demoted to number two, as opposed to you're in charge of the DC movies for and everything. You're now second in command, and we're putting somebody else in charge.
And it's funny
It's
with
always something.
a lot of the
Yeah.
shifting and embarrassing stuff where they take people out and shift them around. A lot of the time they
Yeah.
don't say they're firing him, but it's like they're putting him
Right.
in a new important advisory role, or his title is now this, but he has less authority, or whatever
Right.
nonsense that they put him in. I think his contract has another year on it, something like
And it
that.
could always be that they don't renew his contract when it gets to time because
Well, imagine they do another reboot. Like, what exactly are we going to
I'll
get
say
here?
that's the problem you run into,
That
right?
would be
Well, we have
so
all these great IPs.
awful.
I mean, we've rebooted them too recently, so you can't really touch them unless you want to keep going down the gun route, which seems disastrous. But we have all these IP.
And
Like,
Gunn
it's a
is
very awkward position.
famously fair and amicable and easy to work with, and
Well, and the thing that's because look, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? Like we know, like it's been reported that he didn't show up, and maybe they've already had a private conversation. We have no idea on that part, right?
Right.
However, in a world like Hollywood, how like it's so common for them to take a flight back to something for a meeting and then fly because I think I heard that maybe he's getting ready for Supergirl stuff, right?
sure.
But then like just fly back and fly home. Like
Mhm.
like this seems like a big deal. I mean, these are your bosses, and unless they've had a private conversation, but it is notable considering this is a an industry where these quick, ridiculous flights are super common.
Well, and how confident are you if Gunn sticks around in the state of the DCU?
At this point, not confident at all.
The things he wants to do seem really bafflingly like a bad idea,
Yeah.
frankly.
And the weird part is Gunn can make good movies.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he can.
He's made good movies. Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked Suicide Squad. I thought it was a lot of fun. But I don't think Gunn can make a Superman. I mean, obviously shown with what we got, but on top of that, I don't
Right.
think Gunn understands Superman. It's funny. He likes to take quirky, weird characters, ensemble pieces, and then make the quirky, weird show. But the problem with
Right.
that is he's quirky and weird, and that it works with it. I mean, if you would go to Guardians of the Galaxy in the comic books, it doesn't follow the comic books very well, and Star-Lord doesn't act like that. And what you found in Superman is James Gunn seems to want to take characters and adapt them to his personality and quirks,
Right.
not necessarily adapt the source material super well. So he wants to make weird, goofy stuff because he's a weird, goofy man. And Superman's not a weird, goofy dude.
No,
Right.
not so much.
And I don't think he has the capacity to understand Superman, just like Zack Snyder doesn't understand Superman. Try to turn him into a god, an indifferent god who doesn't want to save people
Yeah, seriously.
and let
That
his
was
dad
so
die or
baffling.
whatever.
Um
The Mariner deserves better
Yeah.
than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking Waterworld. You were saying something, Jason?
I was just we've mentioned it before that he can do good movies, and there's plenty of examples of him playing to his strengths, and I think that the executives were blinded by the fact that he had been successful, and when he played to his strengths, and they're like, oh, he can obviously do whatever we want him to do. And I just don't think he's that versatile a director. From all I've seen of what he's done, sure, there's a certain niche of movies that he excels at, and everything else he touches is crap. On top of that, he said that it didn't solidify with him how to do Superman until he got the dog, and the dog was one of the worst parts of the movie.
Well, and see, that's my point. He adapts it to him. He
Right.
couldn't understand Superman until he adapted it to his personality. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know who Superman is. He doesn't relate to Superman. He doesn't understand Superman. But the problem is, even when you give James Gunn carte blanche and no filter, is when we get that Peacemaker. And
Right,
Peacemaker
right.
was terrible.
What do you mean? It was great. There was orgies and
His
it was
wife
great.
accepted an award for him because he was too busy recently.
Mm.
And she said that Peacemaker is the most James Gunn thing that he's ever made. And I was like, well, that's terrible because Peacemaker is a horrible show.
Yeah, gross.
Just really bad. So
Ooh, why would you
if that's
admit
the
that?
most James Gunn thing we can possibly get, then that's a bad sign that James Gunn's not actually the director we think he is.
Right.
He's just quirky and stuff, and he needs a filter. but there's no confidence that he should be in charge of a studio in any way. And he's
No.
got an absurd ego he desperately wants control of Batman because he wants to make a Batman movie. But I've been given
Well,
no
that
indication
would
he
be a
understands
train
who Batman is. He just wants to make a quirky James Gunn Batman.
Yeah.
A good director should be a lot more versatile. It's funny when we talk about really good actors, and it's like actors who are really good at playing that same character over and over again, and then there are actors who are kind of chameleons who can do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a gulf between those people. James Gunn is the guy who's really good at making James Gunn movies.
Right.
Yeah.
With somewhat of a
Yeah.
restriction or filter. He is not a chameleon director where he can just direct anything that's good. Like, who's confident that if you gave James Gunn a World War II movie, it wouldn't end up with weird, quirky characters with eye patches and odd proclivities? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it would.
It's like, what is this? What are we watching, James? You psycho?
What's going on, Jaime? Hmm?
And it's like, oh, well, so things are going really well over here in this corner of Hollywood? This is what we're seeing?
Good stuff.
Great.
It's great. I really like it.
A lot of people have been trying to speculate that this means James Gunn is going to leave DC, and it's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what?
Well, there have been some
Entirely
people
possible, but-
pushing that he'll have more freedom and capabilities if he goes back to Marvel under Kevin Feige. And it's like, why would you give up being in charge to being under Kevin Feige? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and they are not in necessarily a better position over there. So if anything, it's going to get a lot more strict coming up. Especially considering you had a Superman movie that didn't make anywhere near $1 billion.
Which was kind of a mediocre failure.
Yeah, like that's not like if it had made a bill, you might have some negotiations there, but let's be real. Yeah, he doesn't.
But he'd have no concern for his job if it made a bill.
No,
yeah,
at
no
all.
concern
He'd
at
be
all.
like, keep going, champ. Just do what you got to do. And
Digits.
now let's look over here. Oh, everybody, Rachel Zegler had some hot takes recently.
Did she?
Oh, good. Snow White? Oh, good.
My
Rachel
favorite.
Zegler has been reflecting on the controversy surrounding her Snow White film. The West Side Story actress discussed the other failure she made, discussed the multiple waves of backlash she received as a result of Disney's 2025 live-action remake of the 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The first round of backlash came after conservatives criticized Disney for hiring Zegler, whose mother is Colombian American, to play a princess depicted as white in the original animated film. No, in the original story.
Yeah, the original story is she had skin white as snow. That's why
It's a European
called
tale. I
Snow
don't know
White.
why
Yeah.
we gotta be confused as to what the expected look of this character is.
Correct
That
me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will.
Has any of you seen Encanto?
No.
I have not.
So I've seen it. It was an okay movie, but
Yeah.
would it make more sense for her to be the main character in that show?
Yes. Absolutely.
Because it's Colombian, isn't it? I think.
I believe so. Or at least, I mean, it would at least match her ethnicity better.
Well, she
It
was
would,
well
let's
cast
see.
in West Side Story.
True. Very true.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense, at least. She's not
Yes,
Puerto
Encanto is
Chico.
deeply Colombian. Okay, there we go. No.
Apparently, she also faced the inverse criticism for playing a Puerto Rican protagonist. Despite
That's
her
so
father
stupid.
being white, that is not criticism I would level against her.
No.
You're not brown enough
Yes.
for a
Well, I
role
mean,
that
it's
you're
a
supposed to
thing.
be Latina.
It is a thing they do, but yeah, that's...
I mean, not from
I-
our
I would
community
never hear-
or our end of the
No,
internet.
God, no. That's
I-
the other side, as it were.
This is something that Hollywood has been doing recently. And I don't mean like, I mean the kind of the DEI part of Hollywood has been doing. Unless you are actually of that nationality, they get upset if you try to play a nationality that you might fit in, because she's Colombian. It's not that much different from Puerto Rican. But
Well, to
the
be
DEI part
fair,
of Hollywood,
people in Latino community, like to us, it's like, oh, well, they're all Latino. But if you talk to somebody from Puerto Rico, they have stuff to say about people in Colombia and Mexico.
oh, no,
Yeah.
I get
and
it.
a lot of the
I
other
get it.
places.
But the thing is if you plunked her down in Puerto Rico, she would fit in.
I mean, it wouldn't be shocking for her to play a role as a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
No one would be sitting there going like, oh, I don't understand.
For some reason, that DEI portion of Hollywood is like, no, unless you're Puerto Rican, you can't play a Puerto Rican.
No, Jason, this extends to absurdity of like voice acting.
Oh, yeah. And we've talked about that too.
Regardless,
Who cares?
let's shift on. She says, I was told I wasn't enough for one thing for West Side Story and too much of another for Snow White. That it was really confusing. I don't know why it's confusing.
On the one hand, on the West Side Story, yeah, that is confusing. On the Snow White side, no, that's pretty straightforward.
I grew up proud of being Colombian. Great.
Good.
Eating the
Great,
food, wearing the dresses, drinking the coffee, doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am as an adult. But I do think that there's an argument to be made, in the public eye at least, when you're two things. You're simultaneously nothing, but I refuse to assimilate for anybody else's comfort. What?
Yay for you.
Well, here's her point. When you're two things, you're simultaneously nothing. You're clearly stating I'm Colombian and not white,
Yeah.
despite the fact you're
Yeah.
quote unquote two things and you're nothing at the same time because of outside criticism. Look, you can identify whatever you want to do if you lean more into your Colombian heritage than whatever. But don't be like, well, I'm not enough for some people and not enough for others. You're both, and there's nothing wrong with being both.
No.
There's nothing bad with being both. And look, the criticism for your Snow White role was, one, you didn't fit the description, and two, you're a shitty actress
Oh.
and unlikable, like grossly unlikable. You're so unlikable that you overshadowed Captain Marvel and all of the hatred she was getting.
Yeah, actually, you did her a huge solid, by
Yeah,
the way.
because she backed away into the bushes,
Yep.
and you showed up just
Homer.
making a stink. Because a lot of the problems, look, we had a similar issue that showed up with Little Mermaid, where
Yep.
she was racially miscast because the book describes her as one thing. It's a Danish tale. There's an expectation of what she's supposed to look like. You know why we don't hate her? It's because she's a lovely lady and she seemed very friendly and kind, and no one really got belligerent. They just didn't like the movie and the casting. But nobody really hated her as a person because she seemed like a lovely person. We didn't like your casting and we hated you because you're an insufferable piece of shit is the problem.
Yeah, you're
You
a real
feel
douche.
you feel it's your obligation to express your political opinion constantly and weigh into everything and make everybody pissed off. And look, you're more than welcome to do that. Everybody's voice should not be quieted because everybody can express themselves politically and culturally however they want to. We can also be like, yeah, I don't like it though. I have no obligation to support you in your political expression. None whatsoever.
What?
And in many ways, it's your obligation to actually help make this movie successful because you're being paid, you psychopath. They're giving you money to make this movie successful. And you're spending your time saying hot takes on the mic off to the side while they're trying desperately to make this movie make money.
Yeah. So,
You know,
so
I
much
think
so
this
that the producer had to come have a chit chat.
Yeah, had to
Yeah.
yell at her, had to find her and yell at her. And we found out about this because the producer's son.
You know?
And he's like, you're tanking a movie. And she doesn't care because she got paid and she could say whatever she wants to, and you can't do anything about it. And then we're going to get a huge failure that costs hundreds of millions of dollars. And then she's going to sit here belligerent on Entertainment Weekly and be like, I got so much hate. And look,
You got so much hate because you're a hateful person.
look, I'm a very individualistic, proud American and all that sort of thing. If I came out and just started spewing Yahtzee propaganda and then got really belligerent and shocked that people were angry with me, and I was like, yeah, because it's a horrible take and they're horrible opinions. And why would I be shocked if I start saying things that other people disagree with, that I would venture to say, and I would expect most people disagree with?
Right.
I don't know what you want from me. It's a bad opinion and people disagree with me. Yeah,
I
she was
wonder-
targeted by a bunch of online vitriol because they don't like her and what she has to say. But she goes, the actress has no interest in retracting her statements. I've said what I feel, and that will always be a testament to my core beliefs as a human. That's where I stand. My ability to ruin a film.
My ability to completely turn everybody off of me as an actress and as a personality on the red carpet.
Like, everyone
Because the
hates
problem
me
with
all
her
in one
and her
go.
political stances is she became the symbol of everything everybody hates about Hollywood. Everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything
Mhm.
everybody. She stood as a single individual moment in time. And she took it in the face because of it. Let's read on. However, the actress said that the controversy served as a complete study in intent versus impact. You live and you learn, and there's a caution that comes with that. There's an understanding that the temptation to speak doesn't always mean that it must be done. Oh, someone's not a psychopathic early 20-year-old. And that there are a lot of opportunities to make more meaningful change than a tweet. Probably, yeah. She did not expect the magnitude of the backlash. Well, because you probably live in a bubble and everybody agrees with you and you don't understand that people have different opinions. But she says, if I've been able to predict everything that would come my way, the threats to my safety, I would have just thrown my phone into the ocean. I think any sane person would have. That would have probably been a saner decision.
Yeah.
But anyway, by and large, we could take from this that she essentially doubled down, that she doesn't regret it, and she's going to express herself whether people want her to or not. And she's upset that people didn't like what she had to say. Okay.
I kind of wonder if some of this is indicative of Hollywood. So actors, they're getting away from the fact that they are employees of the studios. they're getting away from the fact that um, they're there to make entertainment and they're there to promote what they're doing and to um, do whatever they can to help make the company that they're working for successful. And I think part of it is that they've gotten to the point where they think of themselves artist first, employee second, rather than the other way around.
Well, Hollywood's doing great. Let's look at another interesting story in how sane Hollywood is. Behind closed doors, Rebel Wilson's crisis public relations team discussed plans to create anonymous websites that accuse the producer of The Deb of sex trafficking as part of an alleged smear campaign solicited by the actress. In a recording obtained by The Hollywood Reporter, digital fixer Jed Wallace instructed top entertainment publicist Melissa Nathan to assert without evidence that the producer Amanda Ghost is a madam whose work involves procuring young women for wealthy and powerful men. To quote, "We can't just do like, oh, she's a bitch and she sucks." Wallace says in the recording, it's like, it's got to be really, really heavy and connected to something that's heavy. At one point in the private conversation, Wallace references the involvement of Hollywood power lawyer Brian Friedman, Wilson's then counsel in the plan. The discovery of the communications implicating Wallace, Nathan, and Friedman can be tracked back to It Ends With Us legal saga, in which Friedman plays a central role in a breach of contract lawsuit from ex-Baldoni publicist Stephanie Jones against Baldoni's producer company Wayfair. The recording bolsters the appearance that Nathan's The Agency Group, a top PR shop in the entertainment industry, whose clients have included Drake and Johnny Depp and has frequently worked with Friedman, deployed websites featuring character assassination claims about Ghost. The conversation was originally recorded in order to relay instructions from Wallace to former TAG Vice President Katie Case, who was not on the call. She was told to review a document detailing the accusations the site ultimately alleged against the producer. Apparently there was some beef that Rebel Wilson had with this producer at some point, and there were some issues in the past, and this resulted in, let's fabricate a sex trafficking lie and spread it around on the internet to destroy this person's reputation.
Somebody needs to go to jail for this.
Hey, this is the most insane thing ever. And I was thinking about this today, right? Because I sent you this article earlier this morning, right?
Yep.
And I was thinking about it, and you know what?
Uh-huh.
As much as things change, I think sometimes they don't change at all.
I don't think this is actually that shocking.
No, Hollywood has done shit like this before. It's just that way back in the day, the studios were involved, and they had like people on the payroll of like the various publications, or they just kind of outright like those publications were their guy, as it were, quote unquote. So
because if you're attached to the studio, they protect their people.
Well, of course, yeah, and like not in any official way, but do you know what I mean? Kind of like a quid pro quo sort of thing.
Right.
And I think most of the time I would think of it, and I think it's mostly thought of in retrospect as like damage control stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thinking back, like I'm sure they did this kind of stuff all the time. I mean, the famous one was messing with people like Orson Welles when he was making Citizen Kane, but that was somebody outside the industry trying to mess with him because it got a little bit too close to his Charles Foster Kane was too close to
Pulitzer, was it? Or Hearst?
No, Hearst. Yeah.
Hearst.
Anyway, I just thought I'd kind of nuts, but it's I don't know.
This wouldn't be the first time Hollywood has tried to blackball somebody.
Oh yeah, they do it all the time for various reasons,
Yeah.
whether out of self-preservation or genuine annoyance or
They
whatever.
go after small YouTube channels for giving them bad reviews constantly. The amount of evidence we've seen of it looks like they're sending bots to give negative reviews, or it looks like they're doing content claims against people because they don't like what they had to say about their film or their trailer. The attempts to get their channels canceled because they don't like that they have negative opinions of what they have to, like, this is a repeated thing. And then you look it down the road and you're like, oh, I mean, they had that situation where everybody didn't like that one comedian's special on Netflix. So everybody went and started giving it 1 star. And I guarantee you there was pressure because Netflix got rid of their star rating and gave it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Or how they changed how they calculated stuff with IMDb, whether things are rotten or not rotten, and how they've suddenly restricted it so you have to be a registered user. And they were just deleting negative reviews. How YouTube changed it so you can't even see downvotes anymore. You just see upvotes to protect billion-dollar companies. And you're telling me that, oh, that this is something outside the realm of possibility? This is exactly what Hollywood would do. They try and stop small YouTubers. What makes you think they're not having quiet conversations about destroying the reputation of somebody simply because there's a beef? Of course they would. Nothing
and
shocking
unfortunately,
here.
this just calls into question like everybody who's made claims against somebody else in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Me Too happen, but there's like some people weren't brought up.
Boy, you cried wolf right there.
Me Too didn't hit as hard as it should have in protection of kids.
No.
Until we got that documentary. And there were accusations all up and down of stuff that were happening to people. I mean, people didn't take seriously Brendan Fraser when he called out what had happened to him. Everybody rolled their eyes. Well, because, that's not the narrative we want to spread. Some of the people who were involved in the Me Too campaign were found out to be a part of it.
Yep.
This isn't shocking. They destroy each other. It is, without a doubt, the wretched hive of scum and villainy.
What? No. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
And then somehow we're supposed to have sympathy for the state Hollywood is in. We're supposed to feel bad that nobody wants to see their garbage. Or fork out money. That we're not obligated to support a feminist film because women.
Women.
We're all just misogynists because we don't like to be talked down to and we don't agree with your political stance. Now we're just bad people.
Yep.
We have an obligation, you see, to back up these multi-billion-dollar companies to make sure they're successful.
I'm glad you've come to understand this, Rhett.
I saw somebody talk about The Bride. It was something like, women need to go see movies made by women to make sure that we get to see more. And it's like, why do women feel, why is there some sort of expectation that women have an obligation to show up just because a woman's doing it? What if it's a bad movie? What if they don't like the opinions in the movie? No, you have to support women. Do we?
You must.
And then we're talking about, support women. Women band together, right, Silver? All the women need to band together.
Yeah.
Rebel Wilson's PR team is trying to destroy the reputation of a woman.
That's why we're all part of that group text.
You're all part of that group text. To destroy some woman's reputation because I don't like her or whatever.
Yep,
Even if the beef is like she's genuinely a shitty person. Doesn't mean she sex trafficked people.
A crazy jump. I mean, could be a huge asshole, but my God.
Or justify fabricating that sort of information. It's funny. People always go, well, I don't like the person. Therefore, I'm going to accept every nonsense thing or make up stuff because it's justified because I don't like them. They were kind of mean to me on a movie. Even for people you don't like, you shouldn't make stuff up.
No. It's outrageous.
But, another tale of Hollywood. Things are going well on that side.
Things is good. Things is good.
So, Everybody's psyched for the Oscars, as always.
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, it's still not happened yet. Right.
To end out our big Hollywood discussion, the Oscars are coming. And you might go, oh, I really care about a self-aggrandizing award show where Hollywood gives themselves awards for movies that they all decide collectively should win. When we found out in the years in the past that most people who vote in the Oscars for the movies to win haven't seen the movies that they vote for. And I'm supposed to see this as a legitimate award show for artists when we have actual evidence that people don't see the movies they vote for. That is really just a decision based upon politics or what you're expected to vote for.
But if they actually saw the movie, that might color their judgment. We can't have that. They have to be impartial and ignorant.
Nobody really cares about what the big top best picture is going to be, because it's really going to come down to two movies, One Battle After Another and Sinners. That's pretty much the two movies anyone's talking about. The most Oscar nominations in history, 16 for the movie Sinners.
Wow.
Jeez.
And it's like, oh, so this is better than Ben-Hur? Lord of the Rings, Return of the King? You're telling me Sinners is better? We have a review for Sinners, if you're curious about our opinion. We liked it. We also thought it was really stupid at points.
Yeah, it has issues. Too many endings. And it's just, it's fun. If this was any other year, any other era, this movie would be like, hey, that was a fun movie. If you want to see something like that, go watch it. Anyway, I mean, this might have like 2 nominations, you know what I mean? And they wouldn't be
cinematography or something.
Yeah, it'd be like cinematography and costuming or something. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like all the stuff. And that's not to say, again, not to say it's bad, but it's just not that level of film, I didn't think.
Well, basically everything else is worse.
Well, and maybe the problem is its contemporaries are all terrible, so it's just rising to the top.
Yeah.
But the bet, because the betting sites are betting on who's going to win Best Picture, it's like 80% are predicting One Battle After Another, a movie nobody went to see.
Yeah, at all.
The heavy political messaging movie.
The judges never went to see it either. So
no, it's a heavy political messaging movie about immigration. Just
thank God.
Heavy. There's no way that ain't winning at all.
Considering this last year, no, yeah, it's probably going to win.
It's funny. I've had a dialogue with somebody who's been in our chat on one of our videos, and it was fairly polite, and I kept trying to express my opinion as to why we have a problem with the over politics that exists in a lot of these things. And it's not even because I disagree with the politics, which I do, but that's not really the grievance. The grievance is the over politicizing of everything is making everything bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Is bringing down the quality of everything, because it becomes, instead of making good art or telling good stories, it's more about the messaging, and
the messaging, it takes priority.
It takes priority over everything.
Yeah.
And when you do stuff like that, that tells me that's more important than making a good story, making good characters, writing good things, directing good things. If the priority is the messaging, then everything takes second place, and you tend to make bad art, because good art should be art in and of itself, not the message. And politicizing everything makes art worse. It does. And you can see the rejection wholesale in Hollywood. Films are doing worse. There's panic across the board. They're making less stuff. People aren't showing up to the theaters for things. Some of the most popular shows on streaming are shows that came out like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
This should tell you the weakness going on in Hollywood and the rot at the base of everything. Is because they went super hard on the politics. And I guarantee you we're going to go to the Oscars. It's going to be preaching after preaching about something they don't like about Trump or something they don't like in politics overall. And then the very political movie is going to win and no one's going to care. And they're going to have an even more bitter taste in their mouth when it comes to the reputation of Hollywood. And they're going to decide not to show up, not to engage, not to be a part of it. And movies are going to get worse and they're going to hemorrhage money and everything's going to get bad. A lot of the discussion I had with this individual online was around D&D, but the message remains the same. We are unhappy as a podcast, not because, let's say, the LGBTQ community is involved in D&D. We're unhappy as a podcast because it's heavily catering to one group, and it's basically pushing everybody away by being like, well, I don't want to be a part of it now. I don't want to play D&D because it's being too political. It's leaning too much in the gender identity. I miss when we can, as a group of people, because everybody talks a lot about how divisive everybody is. We're divisive because we don't hold things in common anymore. We don't hold cultural things in common anymore. We don't enjoy the same movies. We don't consume the same products. We don't play the same games. Everybody's sort of bifurcated in political directions. I would prefer if we can all consume movies that we can all enjoy, that we can all go to Lord of the Rings and we all love this movie regardless of political perspective, or just, general stuff. And you just don't want, you want to shove out anybody who has something to say. You know what? I am not upset when people have something political to say. And I'm not upset when they have a political movie or a message that they feel strongly about, by all means. Just know that you're alienating a huge, at least half, if not more, of people who want to expose themselves to that. And your movie is going to have a lot less people going to see it. And then if Hollywood turns it into, like with One Battle After Another, this big praised, huge thing that they're going to hold up above their heads as this icon, then that political messaging is going to leave it stink all over Hollywood. And everybody's going to see Hollywood as some leftist shill, identitarian, political horseshit, industry.
Right.
And then we're all going to pull away. We're all going to pull away from this. There are movies I like that lean left wing. There are movies I don't like that lean right wing. And a lot of it is because they're not preachy and they tell the stories really well. And I mean, I like Star Trek. A lot of it's left-ish.
Yeah. Much so.
But it doesn't talk down to you all of the time. And a lot of it leaves it up to the audience to sort of interpret and consume it in a way where you can think about the ethical conundrums and reflect on how you feel about those issues and that sort of thing. Not current Star Trek. Current Star Trek has made a clear political stance on how they feel about things. And guess what? That's why it's not doing well. That's why Academy's not doing well. So by all means, do this, Hollywood. This will be another Oscars with the record amount of people not watching. This will be another Oscars of people rejecting all of the films. I mean, One Battle After Another didn't do super well. It didn't.
No.
And it's going to win the Oscar, and we're going to all sit here and go like, what? Who? And most people aren't even going to see the Oscars. We used to all watch the Oscars because we were into movies and we liked movies.
Yep.
People don't even give a shit now. Why am I supposed to care if Sinners is doing well? Or why am I supposed to care if One Battle After Another wins an Oscar? I'm never going to see it. I don't want to see it because it looks bad. It's not for me. And yet you're going to tell me this is the greatest movie to come out this year above all else? This is what you're telling me? Why am I supposed to support your industry? At some point, I'm sitting on the sidelines with how bad things have been politicized, cheering your downfall. Because I don't care. Why should I care if all you produce are these types of movies? Why should I care if you survive? I don't care what movies are a vital industry. They're not. We lived most of mankind has lived without movies for most of our existence.
Yep.
And guess what? There's a lot of backlog. I can watch movies forever and never see a new movie. Ever see? There's so many movies out there. I can watch movies forever and never see something made in this century.
And
Oh yeah,
not only that,
absolutely.
but you've got other countries now
Yes.
that have their own film studios and things, and we don't even have to watch stuff from the United States anymore.
Guess who's eating
You're not the
Hollywood's
only game in
lunch?
town.
Guess who's eating Hollywood's lunch? It's Korea.
Oh yeah,
My mom watches almost exclusively Korean shows now because she thinks our stuff is dirty and bad. The
Yeah.
Korean stuff is cute and sweet, and they have little romance shows, and she thinks they're charming. She doesn't watch American stuff. This is your fault. That's not our fault. This is you. You're digging your own grave and blaming us for it. I didn't give you the shovel. I didn't tell you to dig. You did this. I didn't do this. And so I'm supposed to feel bad for you. Oh, you got to show up just because of obligation. You got to save the industry. Why? You hate me. Why would I help to save you when you hate everything about me? I'm everything you don't like. I'm a man and I'm white. There's literally been a phrase in Hollywood where they say, oh, if it's male and pale, it's stale. Okay. Yeah. Then I don't want your stuff. Just like you don't want me as a consumer. We both agree. None of us wants to interact. Oh, movies are doing well. Maybe you needed the male audience to participate and watch your stuff. Well, how about you make movies I'd be interested in? No, you're going to praise the most political movies you could possibly make. Raise them up as the paragon of filmmaking this year. Well, go screw yourself. Suck my balls, Hollywood. Did I get my point across?
I think you might have, yeah.
To us, yes. To Hollywood, they've got their fingers in their ears and they're going la 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 la, because and that's obviously what they've been doing for like the past 10 years.
It's funny that it was like, oh, we're so worried about the industry. Oh, I hope things. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh,
burn, Hollywood,
please?
burn.
Will you please care?
No.
Oh.
What do you think, Ross? How do you feel about the current state of Hollywood, considering all of these stories we've had today? What do you think? Oscars is a good sign, or are things a good, healthy sign of the direction we're going? Not that we have to go through the platitudes of well, they got bad writers and they don't connect with their audience. All of these are given. What do you think? What do you think? Because the stories this week tell me of a sick and dying man.
Yep.
Yeah, and even the ones that are kind of par for the course and have probably been a thing for a long, long time, like the Rebel Wilson story, having it exposed and open is really off-putting to people.
Gross.
They don't like to hear that, especially, frankly, from someone as unimportant as Rebel Wilson. Like, no offense to her, but like, this isn't like, George Clooney or any of these big name actors who we've known and have been around for a long time, and they're big important people. This is Rebel Wilson, the resident fat funny chick. Yeah. I mean, it'd be like finding out like Jack Black. Actually, that's an insult to Jack Black, as much as I hate him. But it'd be like hearing Jack Black had like a crew, like he hired a negative PR firm to fuck with people. It's like, why?
To be fair, Ross, she lost a bunch of weight, and for some reason that meant that she's a lesbian. So she suddenly became a lesbian.
Oh, well, good for
her.
Now
she can attract chicks. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if she can attract them, but she is a lesbian. I think she.
Well, women really love power, and she did use her power to destroy another woman. So these are all positives.
Fat chicks have power.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like hyenas fighting over the scraps of a corpse, in a way.
That's a good descriptor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yes, movies will always be made. movies will always be made in America. How many? How big? How much? That's the question. And Hollywood as it was, and to be fair, Hollywood has had this point in time more than once. But Hollywood as it was will not exist again. It just won't. So it does feel like animals fighting over the scraps of something and just trying to get their little piece of the pie before it goes away.
A lot of the recent complaints and paranoia seems to be that there's a lot of consolidation in Hollywood. I would argue things are decentralizing hard. That it's no longer has nothing to do with Hollywood. They're all over the map. Wherever the taxes are lowest, wherever it's easiest to go. I don't think Hollywood is centralized in any way. And much as the paranoia is about, oh, well, these big corporations are banding together. That sick old Hollywood system. You're going to see a lot more smaller stuff decentralized all over the place. You're going to see stuff all over the map. I don't think this is a centralizing issue. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Maybe they're talking about like Paramount purchasing Warner Brothers.
That's what I was referencing.
It seems like these bigger studios are eating up other bigger studios because they're going down the tubes.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. But anyway, your thoughts on that?
But because you have the option now to have a smaller studio wherever you want to have it is an amazing opportunity. Whether or not companies really leverage that opportunity, we'll see what goes on. But yeah, I don't think movies and entertainment aren't going to go away. It's too much money to just disappear. But at the same time, I gotta say, I hope Hollywood goes away. But all they've been doing is screwing with us and shoveling out garbage. So,
I mean, my hope is we get a lot more engaging, smaller, thoughtful, well-written films. That's my hope. That's everything.
I think with
that there needs to be a pullback so that they appreciate what they have.
Yeah. I think as Hollywood contracts and as some of these bigger studios find out that they just can't operate the way they have been operating in the past, that we start getting entertainment coming back.
What do you think, Silver?
My opinion of Hollywood has not changed. It's doing great.
Well,
awesome.
Considering all of the stories we've had tonight, what do you think? Are you looking forward to the bangers for the Oscars? Is Rebel Wilson's story charming and relatable?
No.
No.
The most shocking thing was hearing that she lost weight.
No.
You're not trying to destroy the reputation of people around you? Which, not to be sexist, but that sounds like a very girl thing to do. But...
Well, I could do that. I should start with you three.
I have no reputation to destroy.
You're a kaiju monster. You would just physically destroy us.
Good point.
You should pay for your sins against mankind. Well, think of it this way. Reflect on the movies you've seen in the past while. I mean, does anything excite you? Has anything excited you in a while?
No. As you stated previously, like the best movies that are, doing good right now, like on Netflix, is shows that came out like 10 years ago. Everything I'm watching is from the 80s.
Rock on.
Heck yeah.
I mean, looking over
and they're all good.
Looking over the Oscar list, I like F1. I think it's a lot of fun. It's not amazing, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. Frankenstein I really liked. But that's pretty much it.
I really should see that.
That's as far as this goes. Begonia's a no.
One of the last best things I watched was Tiger King.
Yeah, that's right. That's gold cinema right there.
I've gotten my father to watch one episode, and he is staggered.
Everybody should be blown away by what happened in that. I mean, more. We need more of your dad going down the rabbit hole of Tiger King.
I know. I'm just like, please.
We've got to. We got to sit down. You have no idea. It's insane.
There's
People
more.
shouldn't own
Wait till we get
tigers.
to
And for some reason, when people own tigers, they go psychopathic.
One guy with Scarface. This is crazy.
He literally was in a room when somebody chopped up another guy with a chainsaw.
He's like, I was just there. I didn't do it. Now that's good cinema.
Now that's good cinema.
More documentary, but still.
Who knows what's real anymore? Well, Hollywood's doing well, everybody. Let's